Hey everybody, thought you got lost with me, huh? Welcome to another video with Little's Kitchen, and I'm your host, Crystal. I thought you might have wondered what might have happened to me, but I haven't gone anywhere. I've been having some little bit of health issues and been getting busy in life, and things just kind of got out of hand, and sorry I haven't really made a whole lot of videos, but I'm here with one that you're really going to love. It's fast, simple, and tastes great. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Hope you're having a great day, and or if you're not quite the middle of the afternoon or still morning, hopefully you're going to plan to have a great day. And so let's get right into it. And I just want to say, folks, I'm happy that you come along with me on these little cooking adventures. I truly do. I really appreciate every one of you. So grab your beverage of choice, sit back, and let's get into it. Cheers to you, folks. Okay, so we're making what's called a Dorito taco salad. So let's get into it. Let's light the stove. And we're going to spray it down with a little bit of avocado oil spray. You can pick it up at any local Sam's Club or Costco, whichever one you have membership to. Or if you have a membership to both of them, get on down there and grab you some. It tastes great. You can spray it on your meat. You can spray it on your pan before you cook your meat, whichever one you prefer. So you can either start with ground beef, or you can do a ground turkey, which I have here today. Ground turkey to me, it tastes better, it's healthier, and it's not as fatty as ground beef is. So I'm gonna get cooking, and we're gonna mince it up to a fine little bit of pieces. There's my meat. Now, I don't know if you can hear it sizzling or not, but if you can, now you're just going to brown your meat until fully cooked. You don't want any more of that pink meat, because this day and age there's so many diseases going around, and one of the biggest things is, because it's ground turkey, is bird flu or E. coli. You don't want either one of those. Now I've got pretty well minced. Now we're going to add our spices. Now most of my spices I pick up at Costco because they're in a bigger quantity. So we're going to use a little bit of taco seasoning. And this brand is McCormick, which I really do love. So we're just going to season up our meat. You don't want to put a whole lot of taco seasoning on there. You don't want to make it like really salty tasting. But you also want to give it that a little bit of spicy seasoning, if you get my drift. And we're going to use a little bit of onion powder. Now this one is Badia, because this one I picked up at Sam's Club, which I do like their brands too. Costco uses McCormick a lot of times. Sam's Club is Badia. And we're going to use this Kirkland brand black pepper, which I picked up at Costco because Kirkland is a Costco brand. We're going to sprinkle just a little bit of black pepper on there. And also paprika, which is Kirkland brand because I too picked this up at Costco. And that's to give it that red tint. And we're going to use a little bit of Kirkland pink salt. Now you don't want to put a whole lot of salt on there because again your taco seasoning is kind of what makes it salty too. Now don't let your meat stick to your pan. If your meat starts to stick to your pan, well, folks, that's not good. That's telling you it's probably time to get a new pan because your Teflon is saying, I'm not here anymore. Now, if you want to protect your coating on your pan, I recommend using either a plastic spatula or a rubber spatula. And that's what I have here. I have a green rubber spatula, which I picked up at my local Target store. I like a lot of Target's cooking utensils because they have a great rating and they last a lifetime, unlike some of the other stores I've been to and I've grabbed some very cheap stuff like Walmart. Now I really don't care for Walmart, to be honest. Their utensils are okay for some, but if you look at the price you have to pay for some, well, not exactly well worth the price. Now I'll show you what our meat looks like. There's what my ground turkey looks like. It's almost fully cooked. Now let's pick up our trash, folks. We don't want to litter. That's not good for the economy or nature. People look at us like when we cook we're supposed to keep our environment clean, which they're right. And this recipe today, folks, is for all you mothers out there. I know you guys like a flavor-packed full dish that's tasty, and your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends can all cook this meal for you. So let's turn that down, let's let that cook the rest of the way, and let's talk about the rest of the ingredients. Now, I picked up a regular bag of Doritos, which I like the party size, folks. It gives me more for the bang for my buck, and plus, it can feed a family. Unlike some of the smaller ones, it takes maybe 2 bags of those to feed a full family. And also, I picked up some cherry tomatoes, which my recipe does call for. See how beautiful those look, folks? And you're going to use a little bit of this Mexican blend shredded cheese, which I picked up at my local Winco. I liked it because I can get big quantity, and you guessed it, the price is right. And you're gonna need a little bit of iceberg lettuce, which I pick up at Walmart because they have better sizes, unlike some of the other markets. Also, we're going to use a little bit of pre-chopped onions. Now let's open those onions, folks, because we got to dump those into the meat next, so we can get a little bit more of that flavor. There's what the pre-chopped onions look like, folks. Now let's dump about half a package to start with in there. Oh, folks, I wish you could be here to smell this. This really is tasty smelling. And it really doesn't take long. This is maybe your average 25 to 30 minute meal because of everything you got to put into it. Now when you do your cherry tomatoes, you got to cut those in half. But you know what, folks? I like a lot of onion flavor in my meals because I just love onions. It tastes great. And when you mix it with that spicy seasoning, it just kind of makes sense. Kind of helps give you that zing to it, if you might say. So let's go ahead and dump in the rest of our onions. Okay, now let's let that simmer now. Let's turn down to low and let that simmer for a little bit. Next, we're going to take our cherry tomatoes, which are these, and these are brought to you by Nature Sweet. Now we're going to take those and we're going to cut them in half. Cheers to you, folks. So that's half our tomatoes, and let's start assembling this tasty meal. Now, you want maybe, oh, I don't know, 5, maybe 6. I like about a dozen cherry tomatoes in my meals. Cherry tomatoes I like because they taste better, and you get more versus big tomatoes that you often don't get a whole lot with. And a big tomato, you have to use them all on the same day. Or if you containerize them, they just kind of start going soggy and lose their taste, and I don't really like that. So I prefer to grab my package of cherry tomatoes, and I can keep them around for 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes. But you don't really want to keep them more than a month at that. Because if you do, they start to rot in the container, and because you have one cherry tomato sitting on top of another, and so we're gonna just slice up a couple more, folks. Okay, so here's what they look like sliced in half. Now we're going to take our bowl and we're going to set those in there. Now you want to take your lettuce and you want to mince these up into small pieces. forgot bag for trash, folks. So we're gonna toss these into our meat package, which we don't plan to use again. So I'm gonna cut my iceberg lettuce into a half. I'm gonna cut the nasty knot at the end of that. You don't want that. See, folks, that's the end of the knot. You don't want that because that will just take your nutrients of the flavor and away from your lettuce. Let's set that aside. I'm going to get this all chopped up, folks, and we'll be right back. And we're back, folks. Now I've finally minced up my lettuce. Now that I've got my lettuce all chopped up, let's put a little bit of that in our bowl. Alright, folks, well, there's the cherry tomatoes and lettuce. Now let's see how our meat is doing. Oh, that looks great, folks. Wish this camera had smell-o-vision. Now, I like to start by putting meat in my salads, and I pour that half and half. And since we're making Dorito taco salad, I'm going to put about a scoop or two into this. And then we're going to break up some of those Doritos. Alright, so there's the meat. Now we're going to come over here with our party size for a full family worth of Doritos. Now you just want to crush up a little bit of those, folks. You don't want to just really fine break them. You just want to break them into smaller pieces, so that way they mix with your lettuce and your tomatoes. Now I've got my Doritos broken up in pieces into my mix. Now we're going to put about another scoop of this meat mixture in there. Now look at that, folks. Now we're going to come along with, you guessed it, some shredded cheddar cheese. That's our Mexican blend. Okay, so now we have our shredded cheese in there. And you didn't realize it, but I have one secret little ingredient that pulls a taco salad all together. What's a little taco salad without, you guessed it, sour cream? So, here's some Winco brand sour cream. I like to get them in this little bit larger bucket. It's a 16 ounce. Now the 16 ounce goes a little bit farther and I picked out the wrong container, folks. So let's just call it. We put sour cream on our mix, and we're gonna call this one complete. Thank you for joining me on another episode of The Little Kitchen. Hopefully you have a great day, and for all you mothers out there, have a great Mother's Day. And remember, I have plenty more recipes for you if you like. You can like, comment, subscribe to this video, and you can watch my other 32 videos and see if you like them, and try some of my tasty recipes out there. And I'd like to thank today's sponsor, and let's put my book up here, Vynle Disorder. They make custom stickers, custom decals, folks. And if you have a business, you have an office that wants signs or banners, and you want to order some, you can use my code, The Little's Kitchen, for your first order and save 10% off. But you have to use my code, The Little's Kitchen. And I'm going to link it down here below in the description box. And once you order from them, you'll receive 10% off. And I want to thank my other sponsor, Coleman. You can go down to your local sporting goods stores like Big Five or Dick's Sporting Goods, or you can also buy their stuff at Walmart. And now you can order online straight from Coleman themselves and receive a 10% off discount if you also use my code, The Little's Kitchen. That'll get you 10% off your order. Now, I want to thank also one other special sponsor, which is my wife, who owns a baking business called Mel's Dessert Shop. Now, you can go on to any of the social platforms and you can put the Mel's Dessert Shop in, but the one that we use the most is, I'll include the description, folks. I forget the platform she uses most, but I would like to thank her most because she makes custom cakes, cupcakes, cookies, pies, anything baked goods, you name it, she makes it, and you can order it too. Thanks for being there, folks, and thank you for watching another episode of The Little's Kitchen, and we will see you right here again later with another recipe. Have a great day, folks, and happy Mother's Day again.